So, unatupika direct yani. Na ni mlevi huyo jamaa.
Hapo maji.
Yuko hapo jamaa amepiga.
Anatoka toka zaidi.
Amepiga gari ya wenyewe.
Amepiga gari. Mwenye gari yako wapi?
Uzuri sasa si tushashika hiyo sura.
Uzuri alikuwa anaongea tu hapa nje.
Sasa huyo ameenda ifana babake na Flo amempiga rungu ya macho. Sasa hawataki hiyo evidence. Hawataki evidence na
okay. Corona gas maisha. Na kitu moja nimenuki. Central Police Station is very notorious for beating up people, for beating up Kenyans. Hii hatuwezi kubali. Ile tunapigania change. Na hatuwezi kupigania change, lakini inakuwa polisi ndio wanaturudisha nyuma. The Kenyan police must learn. And if they cannot learn, then it will be very difficult for people to get their rights in this country. Those people who were arrested yesterday, they have been released. Then police are following them to harass them. Why should you harass people who are arrested doing what is constitutional rights? They were practicing their constitutional rights, and there's no crime they have committed. Criminals are out there, so many criminals, but police cannot arrest them. Police cannot go after them. We know our politicians, most of them are criminals. So I don't know why we should be afraid of speaking out. We have a freedom of assembly, freedom of expression, freedom of standing up for what is right. And this is what we must come together and discuss. A conversation is needed in this country. A conversation where we will get to know why the police follow. Why is the police do not follow the constitution? The constitution is the supreme law of the land, and everybody must obey the constitution. And this country is in a mess because people are not obeying the constitution. Police are not obeying the constitution. The president is not obeying the constitution. And people are getting away with so much. Our justice system is broken.
Haya, simama tu hapo.
Every time as a Kenyan you stand up to speak out the truth, to enlighten the people. You are either arrested by the police, you are beaten up, you are manhandled by the police, you are put in a police cell. But a time when we say enough is enough, this being taken into the cells, we must come to be used to that. Because if the system is going to remain, then this will have to continue. But then I'm saying we will not allow anybody to mutilate the constitution of Kenya. People died fighting for us to realize this constitution. We must understand this. There are people who shed blood. There are people who died, people who were killed for this constitution. We need a total overhaul of the system. Because we are not criminals. We are law-abiding citizens of Kenya. We are law-abiding citizens of Kenya. So I'm not intimidated. I will not be intimidated. I've come to realize that police do not understand that they are paid through through our taxpayers' money, our money. They are paid with our money, but then they behave as if they are not public servants. This is what we want to fight, and it must come to an end in Africa. Bad governance must come to an end in Africa, and it will not end if we sit there and do nothing. We have got to mobilize. We have got to educate our people. We have got to teach our people. Tell them the truth. It is the truth that shall set us free. It is the truth that will make us to overthrow the political class who continue the system of the colonialism that humiliated our fathers in their own land. It is not right at all. Nobody should face what we are facing in our country. Nobody should go through what poor people Kenyans go through in our police stations. Nobody. And that's what I'm saying. We must work for change tirelessly. We must believe that we can change this system. We must believe that we are able to be in control of our resources, of our country, of our lives. We are human beings, after all. We are all human beings, equal in the eyes of the Lord. Nobody is superior to the other. And that is what we must destroy in this country. The narrative that some people are superior than others. This is what we must destroy in this country. This is what we must stop in this land. We must stop worshiping thieves and criminals and murderers. These are the people we worship. And as long as we continue doing that, then we continue suffering. It's also so sad that we have normalized suffering in this country. People are suffering. People are dying. But nobody cares. The system does not care. The government does not care. What's the role of the government? If it's not to protect these people, then it means these people have failed us. Totally failed us. And they are in power because we are not united. They are in power because we have refused to come together as brothers and sisters. They are still in power because we have refused to educate our people. They are still in power because we are afraid of them. We are driven by fear. But we must overcome our fears. We must overcome our doubts. Somebody said that the world is in a mess because good people are always full of doubts. But the bad people are full of confidence. We must have confidence to stand up and fight for change. There are those who came before us, they did their part. They are not coming back. We are the ones who are at it now. And we must face the system. We must face the bull by the horns. And the problem with this country is too much power vested in the institution of the presidency. We must do away with the powerful presidency in this country. Like Katiba said, the problem of Africa is the problem of too much power concentrated in the hands of one man. And I think there's something that happened in Senegal. The president of Senegal the other day said that told the people of Senegal, do not harm. Do not harm. You are my portrait in your rooms or in your offices. And he said, hang the portraits of your children, so that when you make decisions, you may know and realize that you're making decisions for the future of your children. We must stop worshipping this in this country. Criminals and liars and murderers. These are the people who are in power. We are being ruled by mad people. We are being ruled by sick people. And that is why we are always a nation that is facing violence. Violence everywhere. Violence in the streets, violence in our homes, violence in the police stations, violence in our courts. I mean, we cannot go on like this. It is not tenable at all. It is not tenable in the long run. We must fix this country, and we have the power to fix this nation. We have the power as a people to overthrow this system, to change this system. It's so sad that they made us believe that we cannot be able to change this capitalist system. But I believe it's time for us, Africa, to revert back or return back to our traditional a society that was communal, that was collective, and we must overthrow this modern capitalistic system which has made us so individualistic. That is why we are failing as Africans. That is what we must seek as Africans. And then we must go back to the root cause of our problems. We must stop being a people who only try to treat the symptoms of the disease. But we must address the root cause of our problems. The root cause of our problems in this country, the root cause is tribalism, is bad governance, is corruption. I mean, we must address these issues. We must do it before it is too late. We must do it before we wake up one day and we realize that we don't have a country here. So something must give, something must change. We are tired of the lies of the political class. We are tired of the lies of the ruling class. The whole world is ruled through lies. The whole world is controlled through hate, prejudice, and discrimination. So it's time for us to rise up above hate, above prejudice, above discrimination. I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of hate, tribalism, and racism that a new daybreak of brotherhood and love cannot be realized.
Nimefika kando yangu hapa. Nimegonga hiyo gari pap.
Africans, we must wake up and face our government.
Si yule mlevi yule mrefu.
Yes, we must do that. Somebody said nothing in this world is to be feared, but it's only to be understood. And I think it's time for us to fear less, so that we may understand more. Somebody said ahead, that is full of fear can have no place for dreams. We cannot realize our dreams when we are living in fear. We cannot realize our dreams when you are intimidated every step of the way. We must stand up and tell anybody who tries to intimidate our people that we are tired.
Bryson.
That we do not
Nasemaje mkuu?
That we do not want to become a generation that refuse to stand up for change because we are afraid of our oppressors, of facing those who stand in the way of the people's dreams. It's time for us to rise up together. It's time for Africans to unite. And it is possible. System has lied to us that it's not possible. You want us to believe that we cannot unite. You want us to believe that we cannot come together as a people and overcome the system of hate, system of oppression, system of injustice. We must stand up for justice because justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So we have to stand up today and say to the nation, to everyone who cares to reason, that let justice roll down like waters.
Si huyo.
Like a mighty stream.
Si huyo mwenye alirusha kuna kama haka kenye huyo jamaa kuna.
I believe
so ndio majamaa wanaachi. Hao ndio watu walishikwa jana wanaachiliwa.
Ule ni Okayo. Na nini?
Where we must vent.
Kule side ni Okayo. President wa
where we must talk about our issues together. Problem is that this country, the politics of Kenya, have never been about issues. They've always been about individuals. That is why we elect criminals into power. Murderers and thieves. These are the people we elect into power. Socrates, one of the people. And he said to them, that democracy will save them out. And yes, democracy, the so-called democracy has failed the world. It has even failed those who call themselves the fathers and the mothers of democracy. That is America and Britain. Socrates said that democracy will fail the people because it will try to tailor everyone. It will allow criminals, murderers, and thieves and liars to hold important positions in government. That is sadly what has happened in our time. We are being controlled by murderers, thieves and liars. We are being controlled by sick people, by mad people. Well, in this country, Africa has got a lot of resources. But we are not allowed to talk about that because we are still slaves in our own land. Well, this never question policy was a colonial time policy that was meant to control our fathers and to put them down so that they will never question the white man's policies during colonialism. It's so sad that today we are still living with the trauma of colonialism. We are people who are still yet to overcome the traumas of colonialism. That is why we are easily intimidated by those who we should question. Somebody said that the biggest threat to freedom is the absence of criticism. African leaders hate criticism. They don't like to be criticized.
Wewe ni nani anatoka?
That is why they do anything to get away with it. That's why they do anything to get away with it. It's time for us Africans to join hands together and assist together. Colonialism never really ended. We are still being colonized. We are still not yet free.
Kuja tuongee. Shuka ukuje. Sio ni yule boy wakili.
60 years.
Shuka ukuje tuongee.
After the so-called
Sawa.
Niko wakili. Poa. Naongea baadaye. Mimi wakili. I know what I'm doing. I'm not mad. But I'm saying the truth. But many people will not relate to the truth.
Mzee ni anasikia hata angekuwa amempigia hivi live.
Because they are afraid that their illusions will be destroyed. Yes, I fear for this country. I tremble for my nation. The children of my people.
Nani?
When I reflect that God is just and that
Kasmi hata hawajatoka
cannot
sasa.
sleep forever.
Si ni wakili na
Now the judge standing at the
wale
door.
majamaa wawili wenye waliteremka nao.
Transgression. And every disobedience will receive a just reward. Be not deceived. God is not moved. Man shall reap what he soweth. When Africa wake up, Africans, we must wake up. It's so sad that we Africans inherited everything colonial, including our mentality. The education system that we inherited,
Oh, Kasmi na post video yake sasa hivi.
the religion that we inherited
Ananiuliza Kasmi amesemaje?
from the colonialists has failed to solve our problems. The religion of today, the educational system of Africans has failed to provide practical solutions to the problems of the day, to the problems of the people. Like the issue of poverty. Why are majority of Africans poor, majority of Kenyans poor, 60 years or 70 years after the so-called independence? We are poor not because we are lazy. We are poor not because we are lazy. We are not. But we are poor because of corruption. We are poor
Bryson,
because our leaders are greedy.
rudi nyuma utaona vile alisema
We are poor because political
kwa hiyo video.
decent criminals in power. We are poor because we marginalize those who speak the truth. A society that drifts away from the truth tends to hate those who speak it.
Thank you guys for
Nobody
those
will come near me,
who are
nobody will
joining the
organize with
live.
me.
So tunangojea Professor Ogola
Because
na Kasmuel watoke ndani.
I take no prisoners. It's time for us to wake up, to change our mindsets. God gave us brains, my people. Yes, God gave us brains. And it will be an insult to the good God to forego the use of our brains. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, there's nothing as dangerous in this world as sincere ignorance and concerned stupidity. There's nothing that pains some people in the world than the idea of having to think hardly. Will you fight them? Willingly engage in hard solid thinking. There is an almost universal quest for the answer. and have that for you. Question about governance, corruption, and impunity by African leaders. There will be no any easy out. There never will be any easy out. The only way out is for us to think and think together. And think together as a generation. Yes, you must think and think creatively. And think critically.
Sasa wote kanuni zenye zimepita hapa zikiwa kadhaa. We don't know where they're coming from. We don't know where they're going to. But ndio wakili.
Poor people of Africa unite. Yes, unite. Poor people of Africa. For you got nothing to lose but your chains. And everything
Tu fanya aje, tusimame pale tupige
Sawa wakili. Okay.
bado.
Question the fairness and justice of many who are past and present politics.
Now I protect.
Senior Commander.
Microphone.
Microphone.
Africans unite.
Hapo tusimama tu hapa. Kuja msimame hapa kwa hii light.
Tulipua hapa.
Acha tulipue. Si hiyo sasa ndio furaha.
Tumia na pen. What? Tumia na pen.
la pen.
Bado hapa kununuka gas.
Lazima katanuka. Oh, anacheza nao.
Wana ni wa Citizen amesema tutulie dakika moja. Amepata mic.
Polisi naona tu wanakutisha hata mara. Kwa hiyo watu wazuri. Station zingine bwana. Ban TV ni hapa.
Ya Kenya.
Check TV.
Shehe mwenyewe. Ushapata microphone? Leta tukuulize tusikika inataka.
These guys are brutal, eh? For nothing.
Central Police Station is very notorious for beating up people who are Kenyans. Kenyans cannot speak.
George unashikilia.
Cannot stand up.
Au shoot.
Wakili, you make it brief to the point, eh?
Oh yes.
Yeah, then ndio tusikose time ya 7. Be my
Niko fiti. Don't worry.
utaweza kushika.
Iko sawa.
Sasa wacha nimalizane hapa na
Kamisa. Amu kamisa.
So, kabla unajua watu they are unpredictable.
yes.
So just say generally on the happenings.
Good evening. My name is Ukari. We received a distress call from one, we call him Prof. It's called Dr. Ogola, that they had him together with other people had been arrested and they were being held. That was yesterday evening. So we expected that they were to be arraigned today at the Nairobi City Court. to answer to charges and take plea. Unfortunately, they were not availed, and once we inquired, we were told that they were being held at the station, and the police had decided to hold them and release them initially on a token of 2,000 shillings. But we intervened and we said that if there is any money to be produced, it has to be accounted for. And that is why we decided that we are going to intervene as LSK and process their cash bail. We were grateful enough to receive contributions so that we could have their police bail released, and I have with me the receipt. So it is confirmed that all the money that was paid to the police was received, and we can account for it. So technically that's it. I would just like to say that continued detention is happening, and we are going back to the new era that we used to hear about. Some of us were born in the later stages of the new era, but now we are actually experiencing it, and it's just unfortunate. But we urge the police force to remember that they are human beings and they are citizens as well. And whatever these people are doing, Professor and Julius, are actually meant to help them eventually. So they should not exercise undue force. They should act within the law, and the law will protect them as well. But if they decide to go rogue, we will also use the law to punish them. And the uniform won't protect them anymore. That is all I would like to say.
All right, my name is Ohio. It's very unfortunate that on the day we are celebrating 14 years of Constitution 2010, we are still experiencing unconstitutional acts by the police and other forces. That's why we are saying we have a constitution without constitutionalism, because the implementation of the constitution, especially with regards to provisions of human rights, are still being grossly violated. And that is, it's a very sad affair. Affair. On matters collection of people's views and signatures for constitutional amendments, that is a right, that is a constitutional provision. And so no one actually, there is no crime recorded as recording signatures for constitutional amendment. Because at the end of the day, the power gets back to the people. Article 1, also the power vests the people of Kenya. And they can take it up when those that they have elected through the social contract process have failed to actually work within the powers they've been given. So we want to urge the police that whatever is happening is good. Everyone's good, including them. And that they should be very vigilant not to be misused by the powers that they have. Otherwise, I am happy such a Kenya team represented by Ugari, my friend here, and I am happy with all the other, interested parties, CSOs, comrades, and everyone else who's come out to ensure that our friends are out. And it is actually a violation of their rights for having been held in custody for more than 24 hours without being arraigned. So I think that is also something that needs to be checked moving forward. Otherwise, thank you at the media, thank you so much for always being around to air these issues so that the Kenyans can see exactly what is happening in the country.
Maybe we've seen Wakili or so many people come out of the station, but the big question is, where is Prof?
Currently, we were informed that the Prof had to be dressed in another way so that he does not get the attention of the media. You might have seen that there are some people some of those who are held in here were injured. Some have actually come out limping. So that is something that the LSK, together with other stakeholders, will sit down and take up the matter so that we can prevent such an occurrence from happening. No one has to lose a part of their body or injure a part of their body while defending for their rights.
So is Prof still in Central?
hiyo shada iko kwake. Wakili,
Yes.
maybe you brief us on why were they not charged?
No, as far as we are concerned, we are not sure whether they are going to proceed with the charges. As far as we are concerned, they've been released on a police bail because apparently the file that was supposed to be arraigned in court was not ready. That is why, according to the DCI here, Central Police, the file was not ready for processing and was not ready to be taken to court yet. That's why they had to be released on police bail. Yes.
So a question, you can do. I've got a question. You said earlier that Prof had to wear something that would disguise the public and maybe people, so that maybe the attention is not there. Yes. That is one. Under whose order was that? That is one. Two, the implementers of the people who started the constitution, they had a lot at stake for it. It's effectiveness and its implementation. From where they sit, from where they stand, even in their graves, wherever they are. Do you think the promulgation of the birthing of this new constitution up to it now, are they happy about it?
Well, to answer your first question, in simple terms, those were orders from above. It was their role to make sure that he was camouflaged so that he could not get an opportunity to be interviewed and relive his harrowing experience in there. It is not a wonderful thing to be locked up in a cell, especially in this cell. So that is why they saw it fit to camouflage them and prevent them from actually addressing the media. To your second question about the drafters of the Constitution, it is very sad that the same law that protects even the police officers is being violated in such a blatant manner. It is very unfortunate that even those who sat down to actually come up with this Constitution are actually turning in their graves at the blatant violation of human rights that is happening here. And it is sad. Is it 14 years now down the line? It is very, very sad. There's nothing different. Someone who died in 2007, who relived the experience of staying in the cell, and someone who actually, if he were to arise today, the experiences would be the same. Which means the Constitution is not being followed as it should be. And it all depends on goodwill. If us as a people are actually following the Constitution as it is, the police is expected to do nothing else.
So is Prof still coming out?
Prof already went. He's left.
Ah,
Yes.
he's free.
Yes, he's free. He might turn up at the people who say
Now maybe my last question.
Okay, thank you.
Now what now comes in the part of the accountability of the implementation of the Constitution? Because there has to be balances and checks at the end of the day. You have to be very accountable. These are documents that were given before. So where do we have the
accountability part of it on the part of the police?
On the Constitution in general? Yes, because the Constitution, it affects the executive, the judiciary, and even the citizens as well. So where is the accountability part of it?
First of all, us as Kenyans, if you're a Kenyan, and you live in Kenya, you are subject to the Constitution. It should start with the individual first, to make sure that they acquaint themselves with this Constitution, and then they try and implement it as they deem fit, and in accordance with the law, the parameters. Now, if anyone's rights are violated, or if someone commits a crime, that's where the police come in. Unfortunately, the biggest violators of this Constitution are the security forces. And there is, it's unfortunate, but I always say the police force, and I was actually telling my brother Kyle, the police force is also a victim of a failed state. A country that was, if a system is properly functioning, then the police is not able to implement it. But unfortunately, because we have a failed state, we are forced to behave in such a manner.
To Maliza.
But also change culture. So it starts with us as individuals, and then with time, even with this civic education, it will increase, and with time, we'll be able to teach everybody how to follow this Constitution.
Thank you, Wakili. Tumemaliza. Nikikuita niangalie juu hakuna kitu kilikuwa umeshikilia. So guys, tumekuwa hapo, that is this is a central police station. By the way, hakuna haja ya kupanda huko juu. Acha tushuke hivi tukienda. Si tuende? Kuna. Tuende. Kwani unaogopa kushikwa? Tufikiange tu. Mnapita juu? Asini. Wachukue? Check. Kasmuela wako.
Ako kwa station, sasa yeye.
Atoki.
Sile kana toka. Ruape. Na nini sasa
amwende kumshwa.
Tunajaribu kama tu hata
enda mwende. Acha. Twende huko ndani.
Tafakari hapa ni kwa mimi.
Ingawa inakuwa ana kuama anajua nani ametoka.
Wewe leo umekuja. Anajua. Si alikuwa hapo tu akitolewa. Kukula hizo kwa na yuko ndani.
So kila mtu ashatoka.
Everyone. Wacha ni confirm. Nilikuwa nimeambia brother yake akatoka. Kama akatoka. Brother ya prof. Hey Gerald, niaje? Hello Gerald. Niko fiti.
Ulitengeneza suti? Ulitengeneza? Hisi ile. Bado umepeleka?
Well, I don't know.
Ile bado ulitengeneza?
Wacha because according to the cell ilikuwa empty.
Karao alichukua pale nation.
Wacha tunini.
Alipatia Karao ile press ile address system. Pale nation. Alaenda kuja kumshika. Okay. Kama hii. Bado moja. Kwa kama anaingia ndani.
Hiyo siku ya nini? Tulikuwa na a lot of struggles here na polisi. Hapo Nation Center. Ilikuwa mbaya.
Na kasa kwa bara ndani.
Hapo tu ndani. Sana dunini.
Mmoja nyinyi ndio mnaweza enda.
Hata nione.
Wewe unaweza enda.
Hata tusikia nasema.
by the way. Mbona kwa maandamano kwa ndani?
Kazi nayo unajua ni mtu wa vipindi.
Hata polisi anampigia sana.
Jana atakuwa mtu mkubwa siku moja. Jana utasikia amekuwa mtu mkubwa.
Mchezo.
So guys, thank you so much kwa wale wenye mmejoin, wenye mmesubscribe, wenye mmefanya kila kitu.
Tunaenda.
So our next stop ni pale Jivanji. That is my next stop. Ni that's my next stop.
Nimechapa stream nyingine mbaya sana. Unaweka tu nitwaje? Unaleta link stream. Kisha ka link tu hapa. Na kuwa na power bank. Kwa nini kutembea? Nataka nataka kwa chini. Mimi nataka kwa chini na hivi. Nataka kwa chini na hivi. Mimi naona this one what's best for me. Kama tena wamerudi ndani. Leo wamerudi ndani.
Wameenda kuulizia kasi, mambo ya kasi.
Leo nao nimeinama fresh. Leo nao nimeinama.
Mimi nimekula ugali na mboga asubuhi na strungi. Nikachukua leo ile. Nataka nitakuwa nayo leo. Leo mimi disappoint. Wapi? Kuliko? Kencom. Hapo inakuwa climax. Maandamano ukitaka kupata vizuri, hapa Mission Center hapa tukala. Hapo ndio tunakutana na maandamano.
Hatuendi hivyo, napitia juu. Ndio.
Lakini nataka kasmela hiyo zitembea. Hiyo ndio napata kufikia hapo pia.
Napita juu. Wamesema wanapita juu, so sisi tutapita juu na
watu wapita juu.
Naambia jamaa cha hasira hata kuliko hasira.
George. Tuende na wao. Ilikuwa na zoom out. Prof, ni aje? Tumekuwa huku tunakungoja.
Yes.
We've been wondering umekuwa wapi?
Yeah, we have been inside there. You see now it's about 6 p.m. So you can add 12 hours on top of 24 hours. Those are 36 hours. Yeah, that's what has been inside there. It's not been easy. Even our release, the other people have been released, but you can see they were still saying they still suspect we can case chaos because they said we're already organizing a press statement and they're organizing Maandamano to take place today in town. But we told them that today was Katiba Day. It was a day to remember the constitution of Kenya and the struggles and link it to what is happening in the country at the moment. Yeah, so I don't know whether all my colleagues are here, but we will wait for everyone to come. MANYORA, you can come. We also wait for Kasmel, who is the spokesperson for our coalition. But basically it was not rosy. Just to give you a snapshot, we were addressing the media in Chester House and we were walking towards the archives to go and launch the signature collection. And as we reached Kimathi Street, they stopped us, and the other people, we had a group of very young people who came from several places, from Kibra, from Kangware, from several parts of Nairobi and the environment. They took buses going back and they just went and hijacked these buses in a very uncouth manner. But because the plain policemen entered the buses, and they pretended to be passengers in the beginning, then ordered everybody to lie on their stomach and started beating everybody in the bus. There are young people who had injuries. That's why they dispersed them before this media brief, because they didn't want people to see the injuries they have. Some of them almost broken legs. If you look at my colleague MUTEMBEI, I can show you his skin body. The arrest was rough. It was uncalled for, and we were completely peaceful. We only had leaflets in our hands, and these are the leaflets in our hands. We had nothing else, and the leaflets was what we read on what you call 13 reasons why Ruto must go, because we have thought people think uncomfortable. We still have these 13 reasons, and these 13 reasons still remains reasons why Ruto. So I guess I'll wait for my colleagues. Again,
because it's
you know,
all.
we were almost 48 people who were arrested with us for the same reason. They started releasing them 5 by 5 to ensure there is no crowd that will be here. And then after dismissing all of them, me and MANYORA, they said we are the leaders who are leading the Maandamano, and they said they don't want to beat us today. So we were just pleading for our freedom. In spite of having paid the cash bail, in spite of the fact that they wanted to take us today to City Hall, Magistrate Court, the Magistrate and the ODPP rejected the charges because they have no basis. So I was asking them, what evidence do you have that you bring later that can make the ODPP find this case legitimate? And they could not explain. So they left us lying there for the whole day. And eventually now they're telling us to go home. We find this is an illegal detention. Because if you have been detained for long, the courts were available, the remind law courts were there. We had the city hall court was available, no charges. And they are talking about willful obstruction. And what is willful obstruction? That we are stopping someone from doing something. So no one has complained for being stopped from doing anything. And the policemen are the ones. So it's something you can't understand. But this is Kenya for you. And what Kenyans need to know is that Kenya is still very far from constitutionalism. Very, very far. We are the constitution, but we are very far from constitution. So what I would like to say to you as the media, that the message is very clear, that collecting signatures, you do not even need to notify the police.
to collect signatures, there is nowhere is written you have to notify the police. Yesterday we were collecting signatures. Today we are supposed to have the peaceful protests. On Katiba, they are saying that we have a constitution which is not being obeyed. And then this lock was to ensure we are locked up and stopped from even having that peaceful protest. And thus you can see the hour. The hour they have released us shows that they know very well that from now on, there can be no any other peaceful protest that can be actually going on.
Maybe.
Our team was arrived from Kirudia.
Maybe just a question. We are told that you are.
Let's talk to these people before you guys get so many.
Yes. Prof and MANYORA, asanteni sana for the organization. But we are happy you are.
Sara daum saying again.
Yeah.
So what I want to say is short. Why we were collecting signatures was to find how we can call the president directly without having to go to the street and through the street. And for that matter, we were collecting signatures. Why are we collecting these signatures? Because people went to the street, they did the demonstrations. The reason why they did the demonstrations still remains. And for that matter, we are trying to say that...
Twende uongee tukitembea.
Tuongee ukienda.
Prof, tuongee ukitembea.
Toroke.
Twende. Wakili. Oya.
Wakili. Ogola.
Wakili.
Wewe wakili kuja tuende hivi. Wewe wakili.
Wakili.
Wewe wakili bwana kuja.
Wakili twende hivi.
Kuja tuende hivi. Let's go this way. Oya kuja tuende mzee.
Let's go. No, but...
Acha umalaya.
It's okay. Come. Ni nini wewe?
Let's go. Let's have it peacefully, officer.
No. Tumemalizana nao. Wachana nao. Boss.
Guys,
Wachana na yeye. Ni nini una deal na mlevi?
You can see this is what we have been seeing inside the police station. It is so brutal. The beatings are crazy. No one wants to care. So what I'm trying to tell you, if you see how the police is harassing you, beating things, throwing tear gas, we are going home. It's peaceful. This is the kind of police we have. They say they are a police service, they are a police force. So let me continue with what I was telling you. Even if they tell us that Maandamanos are over, the reasons why we went are still not over. There are 13 reasons why Ruto must go home, and he must go home quickly. We said that he reduced advisors by 50%. He has increased advisors by 200%. Bringing back Moses Kuria, all the SAC Minister Aisha Jumwa to the government through the back door with substantive ministerial positions is unconstitutional. And we remain fighting, and today is Katiba Day. We are reminding Kenyans that we cannot give up on this matter. It's unconstitutional to bring a sacked minister like Moses Kuria to the back.
Simame kwa nini?
Whistle. We are Kenyans. Whistle imelia. Simama. Oya. Simama. Whistle. Flag.
Yeah, so we are continuing by saying that the reasons why Ruto must go remain, the cabinet has been reappointed back. Broad-based government was not the solution that Kenyans was looking for. And therefore, the fight and the march continues. And I want to say the following, that the economy is growing at 4.2%. Youth are 60% unemployed. The employment rate is growing at 22%. At that rate, somewhere people will never be employed. Imagine some people will reach the age of retirement having not worked. In Luo we say, Nibro T Kapo PTU. How can you retire, reach the age of retirement without a payslip? No one will see a payslip in this country. So I'm telling young people, wake up, fight this government, because you'll never get employed in this government and see a payslip if Ruto is the president. Ruto must go home, because the problem is economic. The problem is not political. Broad-based government is not a solution to an economic problem. Tribal kingpinship and tribal alliances is not a solution to this economic problem. And therefore, Ruto must go simply means that we want a country where we can earn a living, where we can live in peace, where we can retire, where we can holiday, and we can have a good life. And even if they threaten people, we are going to collect the signatures again. Find a way on which we can rule Ruto through a constitutional means. And we are not giving up at all. It's going to be by blood and sweat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wakili.
Now, Wakili, as you walk, earlier I had asked some of your colleagues about the constitution that was the authors of the constitution.
Yes.
14 years down the line, do they have something to smile about?
Yes, they have something to smile about, because at least we have something to talk about. Ruto cannot rule us the constitution equal to the one on 7 or the one being used in DRC. We have a constitution we can refer to. What it means is constitutionalism. And that's why Kenyans need to come out and defend their sovereignty. That is the only way we are going to ensure it works. Actually, the amendment we are seeking, if we get powers to recall the president directly through the ballot referendum, without through parliament, people will get power to make the government a task. But for now, there is no way you can recall the president. Your sovereignty is a fake one. It is fake because it is the same people who made it. They passed laws in parliament to stop you from enjoying the powers. God first begets Kenya. Secondly, Kenya begets their sovereignty. Thirdly, the sovereignty gets the constitution. It's the constitution that creates the office of the president, which is the fifth force. There's no way when the office of the president can become more powerful than the people, than their sovereignty, than the constitution. Ruto has broken 38 constitutional provisions, all the 16 chapters and the 14 chapters of the constitution. Now we are celebrating the 14th year of constitution. Ruto has broken every single chapter of those constitutions. That's why he is not fit to be in office. He is not fit at all to be in office. And that's why we say Ruto must go. And we are not relenting.
And maybe perhaps because we've seen today, just apart from the constitution, we know Raila has been championing about the constitution for quite a long time. And today we saw him on this day with the president in State House about the AU thing. What do you think? Do you think that we're in safe hands with whatever that is happening?
Yeah, let me tell you, the best way to answer this is that with Raila moving over to work with Ruto, there are two horses which will appear. The first horse of political horse of politicians, which are made of tribal arithmetics, tribal alliances. The second horse is this movement you're seeing now, the movement of the young people, who will say we are tired of thieves. So there'll be one horse of thieves, one horse of political alliances, one horse full of lies and wrong promises, another horse is issue-based, which is economic interest. So we are going to focus on that horse, and the media should join us in bringing the two-horse race. The two-horse race is between the horse of Raila, Ruto. All those positions have been recycled, have been reused, and the young people are emerging with a new policy, economic solution to this country for prosperity. Thank you.
Okay, just going back to the constitution and constitutionalism, yeah. I had asked your colleagues earlier, so where does accountability now comes in the constitution part of it?
We are going to offer oversight to the government. That's why we are going to quote we are also going to state offices and telling them what we are trying. For example, passport offices, ID offices, all the corrupt government offices, we shall take petitions telling them what we need to do. Then when they don't do it, we put pressure on the state. We identify the countries. You steal our money, we own the state, you own State House. And this state we still own. That's why they're speaking to you on the state. We are going to start going to the people and telling the people, because the people have power. People's power is our power. And people's power comes from God. It can never be made quiet. So that's how we are going to do accountability and governance through oversight with what we are doing, the street protests and accountability offices.
Thank you, Prof.
So we
Thank you very much.
wait until now we join us in the.
So that is Prof who was arrested yesterday, and
I could tell you, I left the hand something very
Shall we? And a very good intelligence.
You know, they were telling us they want, for us, we wanted to go home immediately.
Yes. But
But
you
they are
see
saying
how long they held you guys after that.
Si uende uinject pale kidogo kwa bunge.
Yes, it's injections with Bunge and safety. But also I need to warn you. Okay. Based on what these people have been doing. Yeah, that's it.
So we just
Yes.
go to Bunge lunch, then we exit.
I've been live on.
Really?
And the video and every for 20,000 views. Wow. So guys, we are in Nairobi CBD.
Now they are afraid, saying if they release us, that there will be a lot of commotion in the country. And as far as we are concerned, the commotion is more caused by them when they do those tear gas things. When they throw those tear gas cannons, that we can have, we see more people becoming a little bit uncomfortable. You know, when you throw a tear gas, when they hear those voices, they're the ones attracting people. At the same time, the ones who attract anger and rage. Kenyans are extremely peaceful. Have you seen people running away from us? But when people see them with their guns and their tear gases, people tend to want to run away. Actually, it is them who actually should be accused of causing all this trouble. Like now, you see what they are trying to do to this young man.
Yes.
Trying to harass him, trying to make him know he can't speak, telling you to go away, coming in the room. So, very uncouth means that the state is using.
So how are you going to get back the money that you've paid today, if at all it was unconstitutional?
Of course, last time we were in a cell, they arrested us. We arrested 14 people. We paid 5,000 shillings each cash bill. We were never taken to court. We lost that money. Today they have taken the money from us, knowing very well that even the ODPP had rejected, there's no case against us. They will not even refund that money. And it was just extortion. Remember in the beginning, they wanted to be given the money without a receipt. That means they had no intention to refund the money. In fact, that's why the cash bill process took long. The lawyers were ready, the money was ready, but processing that money without a receipt was becoming difficult, and therefore it becomes impossible. So it's a corrupt government to the core. Now one of the policewomen was telling me, if I want my phone, I give her 2,000 shillings. And I told her, if I'm opposing this very government for being corrupt, I bribe you to take my phone. Stay with my phone.
So you don't have your phone as we speak?
Because during the process, they didn't want us to make any call because they knew we would share any content. They knew that we could be able to tell comrades what is going on here and there. So for that matter, they were very bad.
Sinipite.
Ingia pale.
So my people, these are just our brothers in the blood, okay?
Yes, yes, yes.
Just step environment. Not to be shocked. Who are these people? Why are they coming here? They are just in the same, we have same vision and mission.
But it's clearly keeping this.
No, over fair space. You know me, I'm not.
Mr. Speaker is not a member of the association.
Just want a fair environment.
Tena kipindi si mbaya kama bora isikudhuru makosa ni wapi.
As you know, we are celebrating for the 14th year of our Katiba, sindio?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
A very good. We are still in the teenage. Hayo ndio maneno tunaongea. Ndio tunaelekea wapi? Tunatoka wapi? Ama namna gani? So let's hear from Professor kidogo. Alafu pia tuko na President Kenya School of Law atatuongelesha. Nimeona pia Kasmuel. Unaona mali?
Ako wapi bwana?
Tuko na Mutiora.
Kuja hapa utuambie kwa nini unakula pakuli.
Tulie, watu watulie. So Prof, the floor is yours.
Samueli acha kujifika.
Samueli ingia hapa tukuone bwana.
Kuja tamleta tulia.
Comrades power.
Hadi prezo pia ndio kwenda one on one na Samueli.
We will be very brief because even my colleague Kasmuel, who is the spokesperson for our movement, even has some information that the town is not very safe for all of us. But of course we are not afraid because there's nowhere which is safe. The Kenyans, you see, Kenyans are already dead. When a Kenyan is working with school fees balance, working on with Fuliza, walking home with the medical bill, with the mortuary bill, and has no food, and has taken hustler fund, that Kenyan is technically dead. Even if you see them walking, they are zombies. They call them dead men and women walking. And who has killed us? We have been killed by people who kill different people. Before independence, people kill with a gun, the tomboyers, the Jem Kariukis, you know them. Robert Hugo, you can call all those people's names. They were shot by a gun. But there are very few people being killed at a given time. Now they are killing en masse. They are killing en masse how? Economic death is more painful and is bigger than even the death by a bullet. True or false? How many Kenyans are going to bed tonight because of economic crime or corruption? How many Kenyans cannot afford food because of our taxation? And that death is perverse. Now agricultural bills whereby you cannot be able to plant, I don't know what, you cannot be able to take care of your own wild or your own domestic animals like cows, how you do dairy farming. Everything is being regulated just for the economic death which we are facing. So let me not go there further and just focus on what is the agenda today. Today was Katiba Day. I was invited to Maandamano House in KCCB to address them on matters of Katiba Day. Also, Raila invited us. But we didn't attend because yesterday we were having a press statement in Chester House just to tell us about where the country is going on the eve of the Katiba Day. Today we were supposed to have a peaceful protest just to show people that we have a constitution, but we have no constitutionalism. Our constitution still looks like a newspaper that can be used for wrapping meat because we have people in power who do not care about how to make a constitution work. Now, I want to tell people the following, that the fight we are having is a third revolution. A third revolution is economic. You saw when Gen Zs went to the street and protested and entered parliament, there were things which were promised were supposed to be done, isn't it? One was that ministers were supposed to be reduced by half, isn't it? Secondly, Ruto was supposed to reduce his advisors by half because he has too many advisors. If you have too many advisors and you cannot deliver anything, that means either you are a fool or your advisors are what? Fools. Because how can you have too many advisors and the economy is not working? Tell me what is working. Healthcare is not working. Education is not working, isn't it? Infrastructure is not working. And we are watching Ruto doing what he's doing and saying that we are waiting for 2027, isn't it? While people dying are not going to wait and see 2027. So that's why we are going to teach by saying that William Ruto is killing the economy. And let me tell you why it hurts me and why I'm standing here. As we stand, 60% of young people are unemployed. You know that? Unemployment rate is growing at 22%. Are you seeing the 60% is growing at 22%, isn't it? The economy is growing at 4.2%. Is it possible for us to wait for this economy to grow and absorb these young people when the economy is growing at 4.2%, unemployment is growing at 22%? Do you know what that means? Does not just mean that 60% of people are unemployed. It means that 60 and above will never see a pay slip in their life. So when Ruto is sitting in State House, you know the implication is this, that the more he stays there, 60% of young people will never see a pay slip in their life. They'll never see a bank account therefore. They will not know Fuliza and Hustler Fund, isn't it? How can you die with the Fuliza and Hustler Fund loan? I was in Kisumu one day, and this is also Jivanji Garden. If you walk here during daytime, I met somebody here who was 42 years old, sitting in a jobless corner in Jivanji Garden. You go to Uhuru Park, the same. You go to Kamukunji in Voi, the same. You go to Mombasa, the same. So if you are 42 years old, you have never worked. When will you work? You are 13 years away from retirement. When you retire, what will you eat? In Luo we say, if you cannot get a job by the time you're 40, Ibiloti kapo kitiyo means no, you are going to retire before you work. So what is pension for you? I'm Wakili from LSK. Do you know what the implication of that means? And Article 43 is clear about all the rights we need to have. And while that is happening, William Ruto is driving our economy in the reverse gear. Because he found the economy growing at 58%, now it is 42%. Next year it will go to something like 38%. So are we going to see any hope? So there is no 3.8%. So there is no hope. That's why the driver of the economy is one William Ruto, and therefore we are coming strong. Then when people went to the street, they came with a broad-based government. Broad-based government is not a solution, it's a political solution to an economic problem. Are you getting me? Secondly, he has come with tribal alliances to secure his presidency. The solution is economic, the solution is not tribal alliances. The solution is economic, the solution is not broad-based government. And development, I mean access to healthcare, education, and what you call living conditions that human beings can decently live in. And I want to tell you lastly, why are we having this bad growth? The level of corruption in this country has never been seen anywhere in the world, mark my words. I have done analysis. William Ruto is at minimum worth 2.8 trillion Kenya shillings. Yes, at minimum. Let me tell you what that means. Do you know Safaricom? Do you know how many employees Safaricom have? 62,000, isn't it? Do you know how many branches Safaricom have? Safaricom have around 42 Safaricom shops in the country, isn't it? Safaricom has over 69,000 agents, M-Pesa agents in the country. Are you getting my point? How many agents does William Ruto have to be richer than Safaricom? Ruto is richer than Safaricom, KCB, Equity Bank, and National Bank combined without having the equivalence of those businesses. So it is theft and corruption. So as I ask you now, ask Ruto, which business does he do that he can be worth 2.8 trillion, while for us, we are worth nothing? Are you getting my point? Is Ruto having a bigger business than KCB? Does Ruto have a bigger business than KCB? Is even regional, is even in DRC. Does Ruto have a branch in DRC? Isn't it? Ruto Gachagua, isn't it? You can even call the other people you want to call, but I want to put my guns on one William Ruto. The theft is on the roof, but things are not working. They tax like an elephant, but they service like a mouse. We cannot survive in such economy. So any of you who thinks you are safe, you are only safe because you have not displayed. As you walk home from here, look at your M-Pesa balance, look at your bank balance, then look at people calling you that you owe them money, whether you can afford to pay them back, isn't it? But here we have a president who can afford everything, isn't it? Who can promise 1 million in one speech. I'll give you 150 million in one speech. Another day, 250 million in one speech. So how can we have such a president running a country and you're telling me, let us wait for 2027, isn't it? And I want to start by urging you that the movement is beginning to take a new direction. And the direction is this. We want to offer a government in waiting. A government in waiting with economic solution, with an economic model. So we are going to ask William Ruto, like the economic model we are going to adopt is called commercial community enterprises. We are going to propose a policy change in the country to allow this to happen. So we tell William Ruto, if you cannot implement this policy now, leave office, we take over and implement it. We want to go demonstration here like has been done by our great grandfathers like Raila ODINGA. We want to move into economic liberation for the country with an economic blueprint. Some of us are economists who have salvaged countries in turning around the economies. And I don't want to pride on it, but I'm sure all of you are born during the global financial economic crisis. Remember that? 2007, 2008. Our economies were in the central bank. I crafted the acronym called PIGS. Portugal, Italy, Greece, and Spain. That's the PIGS. And I proposed an economic model to turn them around during global financial crisis. And they were turned. This in Kenya is nothing. We just need someone who is honest. And I end by telling you, honesty should be #1 virtue in electing any leader. And there will be never any right for a Kenyan until we have the right person in State House. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much, Professor. Maybe hear from Kenya's President.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Comrades power. Comrades power. Bunge la wananchi.
Mungu mashinani baba.
Bunge la wananchi.
Mungu mashinani.
Wacha nijiintroduce tena na kwa wale waliowahi kukutana hapa. Tumekutana naona na smile sana.
So guys, I'm sorry I have to leave because I've been in a cell for how many hours? 38 hours.
I had a question for you.
Because of time, sir, we will still be here.
I will come.
We gave you our time. At least give us 2 questions.
Introduce kidogo.
Okay,
I have a question.
Okay, no problem. Just obey. 2 questions.
Yes.
It's okay. How much I love that you have your identity now. But you please see that a good solution to it. You see, as colleagues to go home, you have to know what we are comparing. No, because I would like to imagine that Ruto will go and an angel will come. I want to see this angel before I send him.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The second question then we ask.
Okay, my question is, you said you are proposing CCE, you called it
Commercial community
enterprises. Okay, we are not aware of it. Maybe you could expound to us how it works and how it's meant to liberate us economically. Okay. Thank you.
I'll answer them in 2 minutes time.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, my senior. I've seen you saying or attacking the administrative, the presidency. Do you think at your level, do you think the president has the problem for our constitution, for our Katiba mbaya?
Okay, thank you. So I want to start with his, and for Christians who are here, I refer you to 1 Samuel chapter 8, verse 1 to 18. It's there. And the problem is not essentially William Ruto. The problem begins with us Kenyans. Because in Psalm 1 Samuel 8, 1 to 18 is when Samuel was tasked to by the people to give them a king. And God told them this king will overtax you, will make you slaves, and that's the king you have in William Ruto. So if you don't get your ID and get your voter's card and vote an honest person, we will talk here again in 2027 and 2032. Me, I won't be there. I will not talk to you again. I talked on television. Let me just explain a little bit.
Yeah.
I was a professor in Strathmore for 12 years. I went on TV and told people in 2022 that the equation in the election is not about who has good manifesto. Because I went and analyzed the Kenya Kwanza manifesto compared to Azimio, they were 98% similar. Therefore, the question was, whom can you trust? And I told people, can you give your wallet to William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua, or Raila ODINGA and Martha Karua? That was the decision. Don't ask me about, I don't know who was in the cell. And you failed that examination. So you took up a thief and you gave a thief your wallet. What do you expect? First of all, I'll answer this question in 2 ways. If you have a woman who is cheating on you, then you say, if I leave her, who else? She will continue cheating. She'll be very happy about it. Because you haven't thought that there are millions of women out there. There is no scarcity or leadership in Kenya. And if you think the only names you know can be leaders, then there is no alternative. You and me, starting from here, we can lead this country. What don't we know? You tell me about experience. But someone who has experience in stealing, you choose him because he's better in stealing. But you forget someone who has turned around the economy of a country. Are you together? As we speak, DRC is running on Solomonic economic book I've written. I'm consulting for Rwanda. How am I paying my bills? If the president calls Strathmore to fire me, and all the workers could work in the country are all locked, how do I eat? Because I've never begged money, isn't it? I work outside my country to earn money to come to fight for my country here. And you can tell me I'm incapable. If I'm advising Shikedi, I'm advising Paul Kagame. Even Paul Kagame's company called Crystal Ventures, one who came with the whole strategy to do it. Now I am not qualified because you have not seen me on top of a Land Cruiser. So what I'm trying to say today is that me and you must believe in ourselves and we can do it. A young man is doing it in Senegal, in Ivory Coast. For you, you want to wait for an old man recycle and reused, like a condom used 10 times to rule you, yet you can see a fresh one, a fresh one. We call it Rough Rider. A fresh Rough Rider you don't want, and you're picking a reused condom and you bring back to here. So let us wake up as Kenyans and address the matter. Now the question you're asking, removing it today and someone takes over means what? We as the coalition, which we have built together now, are going to give you a government in waiting. A government in waiting will be from who will be the checkmate William Ruto to Gachagua to everyone. That's our biggest agenda. will come here and tell you this is now the government waiting. And if you accept those people, then that is the horse I call a horse which is economic horse, because there will be two horses in 2027. The first horse will be a political horse, which trades on tribal alliances, tribal kingpinship, lies and unbroken promises. You hear me? And the horse is issue-based, like I talk about the economy. And I'll answer that by finishing his question. Commercial community enterprise is a model I've built based on Solomonic economics. So, Mr. Speaker, I will bring for you 20 copies of a book called Solomonic Economics as a donation. You will give to these people to read. The book is called Solomonic Economics. It has the basis on how we can build the economy from what you call, from down up. I don't want to talk about bottom up. In Taita Taveta we launch it. It's called Hekima Mashinani. You cannot build an economy using wisdom from US. CCC wajinga, Hekima Mashinani. Alafu rasilimali mashinani. Resources on the ground. And then thirdly, we talk about matunda mashinani. Kama weza matunda kwenu, utazaa wapi hapa? Some men cannot even make women pregnant in their own home. Then they want to play away and have a baby. It can't happen. This is a joke, but I think you get my point. Hekima mashinani, matunda mashinani, alafu heshima mashinani. If there's someone from Kisumu here, shame on you, like I'm from there. Wajaluo wanasema ni werevu, isn't it? Lakini maskini ni mingi. You know so much Luos, my fellow Luos. Why not so rich? It's because you are being led by uneducated people. We have people where we are discussing whether they have a degree or not, isn't it? And they are the leaders you call, I don't know what, isn't it? But the educated people, they are always being fought. I saw analysis how Nyong'o was failing to become an MP because he's a brilliant mind who stood for something, and somebody without a degree who is believed on by you Luos, isn't it? Made Anyang Nyong to fall down. Tuju fell down, isn't it? You count those names, they are big names, but they were brought down by someone who is uneducated leading you. So the day educated person will lead you people, you go somewhere. So the economic model I'm talking about on the commercial community enterprises will make it mandatory that before you go to university, you have a chance to work in a commercial enterprise for 2 years. If you go directly, you have to come back and work there. And these commercial enterprises are well crafted. It cannot be easy to explain everything here. Let's start from one point. I'll send the speaker a Solomonic economic book, isn't it? I'll give you now 25 copies. You'll share with some people. You share, because you know, I cannot print books for everybody, isn't it? But I'll give 25 copies as a donation. You can rotate the book, merry-go-round, isn't it? And after that, I can come now to explain it. But I'm also working on digital explainers that will bring this model clearly. It's already being tried in Taita Taveta, and you'll see it's true. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And I tell you very well.
You need to be corrected somewhere. You are senior. My senior mean, I'm called James Joroge. Mimi ndo mbunge wa Karatina. Kuna kitu hapo nimesikia ukasema kwamba, because maybe I'm not a Luo, but nasikia wanasema Luo. Yes. Wanaweka watu wajasoma sana. For your information, the most learned president in the world alikuwa anaitwa Mugabe. Alisoma kushinda Obama. Compare the economy of Zimbabwe and America. Tuangalie hapo.
Yes, yeah, that is true, but let me also tell you that people can use their intelligence against their country instead of for their country. That's why I told you earlier. Number one virtue is honesty. Is Mugabe honest? No. Honesty, meritocracy, and pragmatism are the virtues you need to turn around the economy and nothing else.
Professor, another correction. There's somewhere about if Ruto leaves, what next? And then you give the analogy of a woman. If you have a woman,
and you can't make them pregnant.
Yes. So,
who is cheating?
I am telling you, I wanted to correct you by telling you, our constitution answers that question. if Ruto leaves, the Constitution Article 146 says the deputy president takes over. So there is no anakuna. I wanted to correct you.
No, let me tell you guys. Guys, let me tell you. No, you make me hurt. Please give me the mic because that one. I'll just let me say this, my brother. That is what has been told to you by the Constitution. By the Constitution also talks about the sovereign power can be exercised directly or indirectly. God is the first mover. Cost of courses, the Latin say causa causal. God, isn't it? God creates Kenya as the second one, isn't it? Kenya creates what? The sovereignty. The sovereignty creates the constitution. The constitution creates the set of things like the president Gachago, isn't it? So when you are exercising directly, it means that you do not have to go through that scheme. That's a scam, you'll be told. They are interpreting in their interest. So according to me, you can do it. You are just
why should you not say that was the building at the same time?
That is when we make a picture, we need to respect the Constitution.
Come next time,
Viva comrades, viva! Viva! Na jioni ya leo
kidogo
kurudisha shukrani kwa ile solidarity ambayo tulipata baada ya kukamatwa jana. So shukrani za dhati sana kwa Wakenya wote ambao walishare message tupewe haki. Mliona ambavyo tulichukuliwa jana saa 5 na kosa letu lilikuwa moja tu, kwamba tumekuja kwa umma kuwaelezea adui wa Kenya ni nani na tunahitaji kuchukua hatua gani. Mtaona ambavyo nilichaniwa nguo, nikavua hapa, mtaona ambacho polisi walikifanya jana, kuanzia kwenye mikono, naona huku kote kwenye mbavu na sehemu zingine kwenye miguu. And yet I was unarmed, I was peaceful, and I was not doing anything in contravention of the Constitution. Santa asema mengine, lakini acha nimjibu huyu bwana kwanza.
Katiba huyu ameweka hiyo swali.
Hivi ndio profesa anakuja kwamba 93% ya Wakenya walimwambia Rais Ruto kwamba hawataki finance bill 2024. Ruto akafanya nini? Akawazibia masikio, akasukuma wabunge, finance bill 2024 ikapitishwa, pakazaliwa ile Gen Z movement, wakaja wakasukuma. Lakini kwa kuwa kuna Wakenya wachache ambao hawakuwa na uhakika nini kitazaliwa, ile asilimia ya waliokuwa wanapinga ambao walijoin kusupport Gen Z movement ilikuwa 81%. Ikawa kwamba only a paltry 19% wanamuunga mkono Rais Ruto. Huwa tunasema kwamba uongozi unatoka kwa Mungu, lakini ukweli ni kwamba Mungu anazungumza kupitia wananchi, na wananchi wamejieleza kwamba hawataki uongozi wa Rais Ruto. Ndio maana watu wamekuwa wanasema Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Sasa kuna kundi ambalo mimi ni mojawapo, linaitwa Kenya